You want to understand data. What's up everyone, Samira here, and welcome to the channel. Today, we're diving into a tool that I think is becoming increasingly essential in a ton of different fields, Microsoft Power BI. If you've ever looked at a massive spreadsheet and felt completely overwhelmed, or if you've wanted to find the real story hidden inside your data, then this video is for you. This is going to be your beginner-friendly guide, a starting point for getting comfortable with one of the most powerful data visualization tools out there. No jargon, no overly complex stuff, just the fundamentals to get you going. We're going to break it all down, piece by piece. First, we'll cover the basics. What exactly is Power BI? Then we'll get into the why. Why should you even consider using it over something like, say, Excel on its own? After that, we'll explore some of its key features that make it so powerful, look at some common real-world ways people are using it every day. And I'll give you some practical tips to get started as soon as this video is over. Finally, I'll point you towards some genuinely useful resources that can help you continue your learning journey. So the goal here is pretty simple. By the end of this video, you should have a solid foundation and feel confident enough to open up Power BI and start exploring on your own. It's a tool that can seriously level up how you see and present information, whether it's for school, for your job, or even for a personal project. It's about turning those endless rows of numbers into clean, interactive, and insightful visuals. So, let's get into it. Alright, so first things first, what is Power BI? At its core, Power BI is a business analytics service from Microsoft. But that's a bit of a corporate-sounding definition. A better way to think about it is as a supercharged storytelling tool for your data. Imagine you have data from all over the place. Maybe a giant Excel file with sales numbers, a database with customer information, maybe even data from a website. Power BI is the tool that lets you bring all of that disconnected information together into one central place. It's designed to be the bridge between raw, messy data and clear, actionable insights. But it doesn't just collect the data, that's only the first step. The real magic happens when it helps you clean it up, model it, and then, most importantly, visualize it. Instead of just staring at rows and columns of numbers, which, let's be honest, isn't very intuitive for most people, you can create interactive charts, graphs, maps, and dashboards. These aren't just static images like you might make in PowerPoint. These are living, breathing reports that you and your team can click on, filter, and explore to ask new questions and find answers in real time. It's about making data approachable. So in the simplest terms, Power BI is a collection of software services, apps, and connectors that work together to turn your unrelated sources of data into coherent, visually immersive, and interactive insights. It's about moving beyond just reporting what happened and starting to understand why it happened. It takes the complexity of data analysis and wraps it in a much more user-friendly, visual package. And that's a pretty powerful proposition, whether you are a business analyst or just someone curious about the data in your own life. So that leads to the next logical question. Why use Power BI? I mean, we already have tools like Excel, which are incredibly powerful for data analysis in their own right. And that's a fair point. But Power BI isn't really meant to replace Excel. It's meant to elevate it. One of its biggest strengths is its ability to connect to a huge variety of data sources simultaneously. You can pull in data from an Excel workbook, a SQL Server database, an Azure cloud service, and even a public website, all into the same report. This ability to consolidate data without a ton of manual copy-pasting is a massive time saver and a huge step up. The second big reason is its visualization engine. While Excel has good charting capabilities, Power BI is on another level. It's built from the ground up to make data beautiful, and more importantly, easy to understand. You can create things like geographical maps that show sales by region, funnel charts to track a customer's journey, or tree maps to see the breakdown of a budget. These complex visuals can be created with just a few clicks, turning a dense table of numbers that might take 10 minutes to decipher into a clear visual story that you can grasp in seconds. That's the whole point, reducing the time to insight. And finally, there's the collaboration and sharing aspect. A static report in an email is one thing, but Power BI lets you publish your interactive dashboards to the cloud. You can then share a secure link with your team, your boss, or your clients. They can access it from their web browser or even a dedicated mobile app on their phone. Dashboards can also be set up to auto-refresh. So if the underlying data changes, say new sales numbers come in, the report updates automatically. Everyone is always looking at the latest, most accurate information without you having to constantly re-export and resend files. It makes data a conversation, not a monologue. Okay, let's zoom in a bit and talk about some of the specific features that make all of this possible. The first thing you'll notice when you open up Power BI Desktop, which is the free authoring tool, is the report canvas. This is where the magic happens, and one of the best things about it is its drag-and-drop interface. You have a list of your data fields on one side and a palette of visuals on the other. Want to see sales by country? You just drag the sales field and the country field onto the canvas, pick a map visual, and boom, it's there. It's incredibly intuitive and removes a lot of the technical barriers to creating reports. Another key feature is the sheer variety of custom visuals. Out of the box, you have all the standards: bar charts, line charts, pie charts, and so on. But there's also a marketplace where you and the community can add hundreds of other custom visuals for more specific use cases. Things like Gantt charts for project management, or word clouds for text analysis. This means you're not locked into a limited set of options. If you can imagine a way to visualize your data, there's a good chance there's a visual for it. This flexibility is what allows you to tailor your report to tell the exact story you want to tell. And behind the scenes, you have two incredibly powerful components: the data modeling and the Power Query editor. The data modeling view lets you build relationships between different data tables. So if you have one table with sales data and another with customer details, you can link them using a common ID. This allows you to create visuals that pull information from both tables at once. Power Query is your data cleaning powerhouse. It lets you transform messy, inconsistent data, like fixing typos, splitting columns, or removing errors, before it even gets to your report. A good report is built on clean data, and Power Query makes that process much easier. So, where are people actually using this stuff in the real world? The applications are incredibly broad, but there are a few areas where Power BI has become almost standard practice. One of the biggest is in sales and marketing analytics. Companies use it to track key performance indicators, or KPIs, in real time. A marketing team might have a dashboard showing website traffic, conversion rates from different ad campaigns, and social media engagement, all in one place. A sales manager could have a dashboard visualizing their team's performance against quotas, showing sales pipelines, and highlighting top-performing regions or products. Financial reporting is another huge one. Instead of static monthly profit and loss statements sent out as PDFs, companies build interactive financial dashboards. A CFO could use a Power BI report to drill down from a high-level revenue number all the way to individual transactions, all within the same view. They can filter by date, by department, or by product line to understand financial performance in a much more dynamic way. This helps in budgeting, forecasting, and identifying areas of overspending or unexpected growth much faster than traditional methods. Beyond that, you see it everywhere. Operations teams use it to create dashboards for monitoring manufacturing processes, supply chain logistics, or inventory levels. HR departments use it for analyzing employee turnover, compensation, and recruitment data. Even in customer service, you can build reports to track ticket resolution times and customer satisfaction scores. Essentially, any field or department that generates data, which is pretty much all of them now, can use Power BI to turn that data into a strategic asset. It's a tool for making data-driven decisions, no matter what your job title is. All right, so you're convinced, and you're ready to jump in. Where do you start? My biggest tip is to not get overwhelmed by all the possibilities. Start simple. The easiest way to begin is by importing data you're already familiar with. Almost everyone has an Excel spreadsheet lying around with some interesting data, maybe personal finances, workout logs, or a list of movies you've watched. Use that. Go to Get Data, connect to your Excel file, and just pull it in. Working with familiar data removes one layer of complexity, so you can focus solely on learning the Power BI interface itself. Once your data is in, the next step is to just play. Don't try to build the perfect, most beautiful dashboard on your first attempt. Just practice with the fundamental visuals. Drag some fields onto the canvas and create a simple bar chart. Then try changing it to a pie chart and then a line chart. See how the data is represented differently in each one. The goal here is to build muscle memory and get comfortable with the core mechanics. Then, start exploring filters and slicers. A slicer is basically an on-screen filter that lets you or your audience easily segment the data. Add a slicer for year or category, and see how all the visuals on your page update instantly. Finally, once you're a bit more comfortable, I highly recommend opening up the Power Query editor, even if your data seems clean. Click on Transform Data and just look around. This is where you can do some really powerful data cleaning. Try simple things first, like making sure a column of text is all uppercase, or splitting a full name column into first name and last name. Understanding how to shape your data before you visualize it is probably the single most important skill for creating accurate and effective reports. So, start simple, practice the basics, and then slowly start exploring the more advanced features like Power Query. Now, you're not alone on this journey. One of the best things about Power BI is the massive community and the wealth of learning resources available, many of them for free. The most obvious place to start is with Microsoft's own official documentation and learning paths. They have a huge library of tutorials on their website, from beginner getting started guides to deep dives on very specific topics like DAX, which is the formula language used in Power BI. These are well structured, accurate, and a great foundation for your learning. They also have a dedicated YouTube channel with tons of video walkthroughs. Speaking of YouTube, it is an incredible resource for learning Power BI. There are channels entirely dedicated to it. You can find videos that solve very specific problems you might run into, like how to connect to a specific data source or how to create a rolling 12-month average. Watching someone else walk through the process on video can often be more helpful than reading documentation. Look for channels like Guy in a Cube, or just search for Power BI for beginners, and you'll find a ton of high-quality content that can guide you step by step through building your first few reports. And finally, don't underestimate the power of community forums. When you inevitably get stuck on something, and you will, everyone does, the Microsoft Power BI community forums are the place to go. You can post your specific question, and chances are, an expert or another user who has faced the same problem will help you out. Reading through other people's questions and the solutions provided is also a fantastic way to learn about new techniques and features you might not have discovered on your own. So, leverage the official docs, watch tutorials, and engage with the community. You'll be an expert in no time. So there you have it, a beginner's look into the world of Power BI. We covered what it is, why it's so useful, its key features, and how you can get started today. The main takeaway here is that Power BI is a tool designed to make data accessible to everyone. It's about empowering you to find and share the stories that are hidden in the numbers. It might seem like a lot at first, but like any new skill, it just takes a little bit of practice. The best thing you can do now is to download Power BI Desktop. It's free, and just start building. I genuinely encourage you to give it a try. Grab a simple dataset and see what you can create. Explore the different visuals, play with the filters, and don't be afraid to click on things and see what they do. That's the best way to learn. The journey from a static spreadsheet to a dynamic, interactive dashboard is a really satisfying one, and it's a skill that is becoming more and more valuable in today's data-driven world. I hope this video gave you the confidence to take that first step. If you found this guide helpful, a like on the video would be amazing. It really helps the channel out. And be sure to subscribe so you don't miss future videos. I'm really curious to hear from you, so drop a comment down below. Let me know if you have any questions or if there are any specific Power BI topics you'd like me to cover in a future video, maybe a deep dive into Power Query or an advanced visualization tutorial. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.